Normies really think going outside and talking to girls is gonna work for someone like me. It does not. I mean, maybe if my appearance wasn't just blatantly subhuman, then it would work. But what you people don't understand is that when I go outside, Floyds will literally stare at me like I'm a killer or something, before I even say anything to them. So how do you think me talking to them is ever gonna work? Like, the whole personality and confidence thing is just cope. Your personality is your face and your confidence is your height. My life will always suck due to the fact that I am boneless and I just overall don't look good. And even if I do approach some random Floyd and she gives me the time of day, her giving me the time of day means that she has bad intentions. The only girl who would date a subhuman is the girl who would do anything for attention, because that's literally all a subhuman has to offer. I'm always right, and you copers in the comments actually just...
10 push-ups. We gotta get the bitch out of you.
There's nothing wrong with this dude. Take the beanie off. You're not wearing the hat is wearing you. You look like a damn lamp. Get in the gym, and I'm not talking about none of that walking bullshit. That works for other people, but he is in a 911 situation. He is one strong breeze away from flying away. That brother might get lost in the couch cushions. He needs to get in the gym. And for Christ, delete this social media account. There is nothing less attractive to a woman than a man complaining about his lack of options on social media. That is egregious work, brother. And I don't know your full potential, but with that advice, you might not get a J-Lo, but at least you'll get a Lizzo.
I'm leaving here with something. I'm from around the way. I'm leaving with something.
I was skinny fat in my first 3 years of training. When progress in the gym feels slow, stay patient and persistent. Remember that building muscle naturally is a long-term investment, and you need to embrace the journey. Even when it feels like you're not making any progress, stay committed to your goals and trust the process. Just don't give up.
You think when you're young that you have all this time. You have no time.
It goes very fast.
There's no time.
Life is shorter than you think.
I'm 54 years old right now. Like that.
Okay, you're 25 and you're thinking, wow, I'm young, I'm healthy, etc. I've got 10 years to figure all that out.
I mean, it just fucking flew by.
Everyone's like, oh, later in life, I want to do this. Later in life, I want to do that.
You don't have nearly as much time.
Be the now of what you want to be later.
So you need a sense of urgency and energy. Like,
there is no tomorrow.
I don't have as much time as I think I have.
Let's get all this shit done today.
Right? You have to develop some fire inside of you.
Pop culture will lie to young men and tell them that they can lollygag in their early 20s, but these are some of the most important years of your life. In your early 20s, your job is to not make the big mistakes. Don't take out any major loans you can't afford. That could be student loans, that could be car loans. Don't go to jail, and don't get addicted to drugs and alcohol. In your early 20s, you should be aggressively looking for opportunities and developing skills that you're going to use later on in life. In this stage, you won't notice the separation because it's too early, but by your late 20s, you'll see it. By your mid-20s, don't follow your dreams, follow what works. Your dreams at this point is a side hustle. You want to have some sort of direction. In this stage, you should keep in mind that your social skills are just as important as your regular skills. The guy who brings donuts every Friday is harder to replace than the guy who thinks that he knows it all that nobody likes. Unless you're a super genius, donut guy will be paid more and donut guy will be harder to replace. You cannot replace donut guy unless you're willing to bring the donuts yourself. By your 30s, you'll probably have a system that you can rinse and repeat. Even if it's just a job, keep getting that paycheck. Still don't take out any major loans unless it's a house. Even in this phase, debt is slavery. It's much better to drive an old Toyota than to worry about how you're going to pay your bills every month. Remember, being bored is gay. If you're bored, it's much better to suffer than to be bored. Do a push-up, read a book, do something, but you got to do something. Don't be bored. Being bored is gay.
Trying to get more into like engineering. What is a place that an engineer would go to?
Where do you think I'm at right now?
Google.
Engineering firm number 1.
Call. 5:30.
Bad attitude. See that? Limited attitude. This guy, they're going to answer because it is after 5:30 and they're working late because they're the CEO. That's what I believe.
So go through, just call everybody?
That's what I'm doing. How's it going? You're an engineering firm? I'm calling because I have a friend, Tejpal, that is a young up-and-coming engineer. He's looking to connect with people that have engineering firms. Would it be crazy if I had him email you some questions and maybe take a 6-minute phone call? He's just looking for some advice. Tejpal, how old are you?
20.
He's 20. Yeah, no expectations, but if you're okay, I'll just have him email you and you guys can take it from there. Oh, right here. Look, he wants to talk. Go for a walk. Okay. Yeah, dude. He didn't want an email. Busy people want to do it now.
Just say it.
Yeah, in your early 20s as a guy, you should be aggressively looking for opportunities because the worst case scenario is you end up in the same position you in. What do I mean by that? When I was about to graduate college, I was going to nationals for Division I track and field, but I realized I wasn't going to be a professional track and field athlete. So instead of me stopping and going to a place where I'm putting fries in a bag like a lot of my old teammates did, and there's nothing wrong with that, I understand you got to start your life, but instead of me doing that, I wanted to do something else. So I looked into sports that I can play using my speed, and I came across rugby. Without ever having played rugby, I looked up every important person in the rugby world that I needed to know, coaches, managers, whoever it may be. I emailed all of them and I called all of them. Eventually, I got one call in return. In June, I had never played rugby in my life, and by the end of that summer, after going on a trial run with another team, I got recruited for the USA national team. And from searching for that opportunity, I got to travel to 9 different countries to represent the US. And that would have never happened if I didn't outwardly look for those opportunities. If you're doing this, don't question yourself because your friends are having fun. It's gonna take a little while, but by 25, 26, you're gonna start to see the separation. Trust me. Search for opportunity.
Y'all ever see those videos in New York City in like 1912 and everyone's bustling, hurrying around on the street? And I think, God damn, they were stressed back then too, man. And now look, they're all gone. And I know that's depressing to think about, but it reminds me of a quote from, I think Anne Lorette said it. I heard Pete Holmes say it. Every 100 years, there's all new people, baby. Every 100 years, all new people. The people we're on earth with right now, this is our crew, okay? In the same way you can't pick your family, but you got to get along with them. We can't pick the people we're on earth with, but we got to get along, man. In the whole grand scheme of the universe, all the time, all the space, the people on earth right now, this is a tiny little group, man, and we get to be a part of it, man. I'm in the grocery store, I see a fella, I think, God damn, I'm on earth at the same time as that guy, man. I see a cool lady, I think, man, we're alive at the same time. Man, that is freaking sick, man. Be kind to your neighbor, man. This is what it's all about. I'm glad I'm on earth at the same time as y'all. Thank y'all. Keep on rocking.
Exactly. That's why I always try to come at life and approach people with a certain amount of enthusiasm and a certain type of energy. And I realize that when you have that much energy, it becomes contagious for everybody around you. And everybody starts to be a little bit more optimistic about life. I like the idea that I'm just a side character in somebody else's movie. Or in some cases, I'm just the extra. In some cases, you're just a car on the highway while they're on their way to work. They don't even recognize you exist, but you're there. One of the best parts about getting older and dealing with the issues that life presents is you realize that everybody has these issues. No matter how much people are smiling, everybody has their individual struggle. And when you're in a position where you're with that person for only a moment of time, if there's one thing you can relate to them with is how hard life can be sometimes. But understanding that not only do you grow closer to people by being able to relate on a human level, but you also go out of your way to make sure that the moment that you have with them is going to be a good moment, because you only get so many of them. When you go through life with a certain amount of enthusiasm, even if you got to fake it, people are drawn to that energy.
You think everyone's watching your every move? Truth is, they're not. You walk into a room and suddenly you feel like all eyes are on you. You think every word, every move, every mistake is being scrutinized. But here's the truth. It's not. Psychology calls this the spotlight effect. The belief that people are paying more attention to you than they really are. In reality, most people are too busy worrying about themselves to notice the things you obsess over. Spill your drink? They've forgotten. Say something awkward. It didn't stick. The overthinking, the constant worry about what others think. It fades when you realize something simple. There is no audience. There is no judgment. There is no spotlight.
Don't be jealous of what other people got because you never know what they had to sacrifice to get it. Don't pay attention to other people so much that you're not even the main character in your own story. Pray and take action because worrying is just worshiping the problem. And it's vital to remember that slow motion is always better than no motion.
No, you don't need cold showers. You don't need the Eisenhower matrix, and you don't have to use the Pomodoro technique. What you need is to master boredom. Understand that 99% of the things that actually bring you progress in life are going to be boring, but your mind is so distracted by the dopamine of everyday life that you don't want to do them. I mean, think about it. Every time you come off of a scrolling session, you don't want to do any type of work. It makes it very difficult for you to do things like reading, exercise, focused work, the stuff that actually moves you forward. That's why you need to start raw dogging life. Whenever you feel the urge to scroll or waste your time, ignore it. Observe your surroundings, read something, talk to someone. As long as you're not consuming mindless dopamine and destroying your productivity. And pro tip, do your work first thing in the morning before you have time to get distracted by this mindless dopamine. If you're able to do this, I guarantee you'll start making progress towards your goals.
Yeah, but if you a grown man with responsibilities, let's be honest, you already wake up early to work. And those guys need leisure because leisure is important, but there's a level of leisure where you start to get bored, and y'all already know my opinion on being bored. Being bored is gay because all you're doing is avoiding the hard tasks that could be making you better. Do a push-up, read a book, start working on your financial planning or financial literacy, but you gotta do something. Do anything but be bored because being bored is gay. Your mind is made to overcome tasks, and when you don't have a task to overcome, you become bored, which is really just a stress signal. So either you're gonna be stressed from boredom or you're gonna be stressed from doing something that makes you better.
The fastest way to know if something will work for you is to try it. Learn to proceed without certainty. Life doesn't come with a trial period or a money-back guarantee. There's no GPS for your journey, no step-by-step guide to becoming who you're meant to be. Every day, you're writing a story without knowing the ending. You can spend years theorizing, planning, and preparing, but until you take that first step, it's all just speculation. As Søren Kierkegaard said, life can only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forwards. You can't wait for certainty to start living, because by the time you're certain, the moment has passed. Certainty is an illusion. Even the surest things in life can change in an instant. Proceed without certainty. Let go of the need to know everything.
And really the only thing you are certain about is death, so what the hell? It's funny because I see this a lot. There's a lot of people that use motivation as just masturbation, just pleasuring themselves. They spend all their time watching motivational videos, making a plan, but the plan is never perfect, so there's never any action. You're supposed to attack life and go out there and fail. In fact, every time you fail, you get closer to not failing. To be honest, when we're 70 years old, we should be more afraid of regretting the things that we didn't do instead of regretting the things that we did do. Now, I'm not saying go out there and do something irresponsible, but I'm saying, ironically, the quickest way to not fail is to fail a bunch of times.
To all of you out there, please keep your dreams alive. Dreams are something you have to believe in. I almost gave up on mine. They say stories like this only happen in the movies. I cannot believe it's happening to me. Mom, I just want an Oscar.
Being bored is kinda gay. There's literal gay porn that's straighter than a man that's complaining about being bored. And I'm not talking about leisure. Leisure is important, but there's an amount of leisure, and then after you reach that amount of leisure, you start to get bored. And at that point, you're just wasting valuable time that you could be using doing the things you know you're supposed to be doing. It's very hard to be bored when you're 200 push-ups in. It's very hard to be bored when you're reading that book that you said you was gonna read, or you're starting that project that you said you were gonna start. Really, being bored is just avoiding the suffering that you know could be making you better. And again, I'm not talking about leisure because leisure is important and you do need to recharge, but your brain is meant to overcome obstacles. And when you don't have enough challenges, your brain initiates boredom, which is basically an anxiety to get you to do something challenging. So either you're going to be stressed out from boredom or you're going to be stressed out from getting better. But either way, you're going to be dealing with stress. Why not get better? In my opinion, it's much better to suffer than to be bored. When I have free time and I reach the level of boredom, I try to find something that I said I was going to do and I try to pursue that, because to me, that's much better than just sitting around. I've been making this point in my last few videos because I really think that it's important for men to understand this. Women are already born with an innate purpose. They give birth to children, so they can kind of lollygag and just be a little bit up in the air and not really worry about much. And if they have children, many of them will find fulfillment and purpose through that pursuit. But men, we don't really have that purpose, so we have to find our purpose, and that's our duty. All that time you could be using when you're bored, use it to help find that purpose and attack that. It's much better to suffer than to be bored. Let me know in the comments below if this video was a W or L, and give me the HBO special. That's a help brother out special. Hit the like and the subscribe button for more content. Till next time.